What is shakin', Internet? This is Salts bringing you the How to Tank for Dummies Iron Juggernaut Guide. Iron Juggernaut is the 6th boss in the Siege of Orgrimmar raid instance, and the second for the second quarter LFR instance named the Gates of Retribution. For those of you in queue or fighting trash, a quick synopsis. Tank the boss facing away from the raid and the other tank in assault phase, and click on crawler mines if you're not tanking. Don't stand in spikes, puddles, or lasers during either phase. During the siege phase, click on crawler mines and keep your back to a wall. Okay, let's start on the real guide for dummies. There is no trash before the Iron Juggernaut, so no worries there, although it is quite a hike from the previous boss. You can enter the arena and actually walk past the Juggernaut before engaging him, so make sure everyone is there before you start the fight. Just a real quick recap, this fight is actually very easy and doesn't get any harder as it goes along, so there's no reason to really worry about it. This is a 2-phase fight that repeats continuously. In the first phase, or assault phase, Big Iron will act like a normal boss running around and attacking his tank. In the second phase, or siege phase, Juggy will be stationary and not need a tank at all. Each phase lasts a set amount of seconds, so just be prepared to pick him up again at the end of that siege mode. First, let's focus on assault mode. Juggy has about 5 moves in this phase, but they're generally pretty simple to deal with. First for tanks is Flame Vents, a frontal cone that puts a stacking debuff that increases the amount of fire damage you'll take. This debuff is called Ignite Armor, and you'll want to switch at about 3 stacks, or whenever your stacks fall off. Next up is Borer Drill. This will make spikes that move along the ground pretty slowly. Don't stand in these. Mortar Cannon puts a giant circle in the ground and eventually does a lot of damage to anyone still standing there. Be sure not to stand there. Laser Burn will deal random damage out. Nothing to worry about there. The last move he has is important for tanks when they're not tanking the boss. The boss will drop 3 crawler mines on the ground. These are adds that can't be targeted or attacked, but you can click on them. Clicking on them will deal a huge amount of physical damage to you and knock you up in the air, but destroy the crawler mine. Since you're a tank, your armor will reduce most of this damage, or quite a bit of this damage anyway. The reason you need to click on these is because if you don't click on them, they'll blow up and do damage to everyone in the raid. There's 3 mines every single time, and you'll have about 10 seconds to click on them. Try to click on at least 2 of them, even if you can't get to all of them. Now, that's about it for the assault phase. Basically, don't stand in spikes or circles and face the boss away from everyone else. If you're not tanking, go click on the crawler mines. Now, after a few minutes, the boss will switch to siege mode. During this phase, he doesn't need to be tanked, so you don't have much of a role, but he will continue to put down crawler mines, so both tanks can now go click these. Besides putting down mines, the boss will drop his other moves from the first phase and learn 5 brand new ones. Seismic Activity is an aura that the boss has throughout siege mode, which just does damage to everyone in the raid every second. Nothing to worry about there. Demolisher Cannon will do random damage to a raider and anyone close to them, so you should try to spread out and not be around other people, though it's really kind of ignorable as well. Cutter Laser shoots a beam at random raiders for a few seconds that follows them around. These raiders should simply run away from the laser. Explosive Tar drops black void zones on the ground that do a small amount of damage to people who stand in them. More importantly, if a cutter laser is drug through a tar zone, then the zone will explode, dealing lots of raid-wide fire damage. That is all of his normal moves that aren't that hard to deal with, but the final move's kind of a doozy. Shock Pulse is a move that does a bit of damage, but more importantly knocks everyone in the raid back. Very, very far. In fact, they basically go all the way back until they hit a wall. Simple solution. Stand between the boss and the closest wall, so you don't get knocked back as far. This move is really annoying if standing in the wrong spot, but if you're close to a wall, it's pretty much ignorable, so just be prepared for it. And that covers the second phase. The fight repeats these phases over and over again until the boss is dead, so that's about it. So let's do a very quick final recap already. You need to not stand in circles, spikes, tar zones, or lasers, and stay away from the other tank and raiders during assault mode. You need to taunt off at 3 stacks of Ignite Armor during assault mode, and click on crawler mines throughout the fight during both phases. I hope you enjoyed this very quick and very easy guide for dummies. Please like, favorite, share, subscribe, all that jazz, and, as always, you keep it salty, Internet.